If you watch every week, you know I've become a big fan of John Fetterman on one issue, Israel. He just got back from a meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, the only one to go recently, and he said some very, very important supportive things about the Jewish state. I mentioned Israel a second ago. John Fetterman was just there. He flew over to meet with Bibi Netanyahu. It was a fantastic meeting from a guy that, like we've talked about many, many times, 6 months ago could barely talk, has recovered from a stroke. You see, he got all dressed up to meet the prime minister. He wore a nicer hoodie than normal. I got to tell you, I'm astounded by his attire, but I'm no longer going to criticize John Fetterman because let's listen to what he said. He said, quote, "I fully support the prime minister's idea that he can never allow a permanent ceasefire if Hamas is allowed to be functional." That's my red line on that. He was clad in his trademark shorts and hoodie sweatshirt and went on, "I could never support Israel being bullied into an artificial kind of permanent ceasefire against any enemy like Hamas. Prime Minister Netanyahu insists he will fight on until Hamas is destroyed over its devastating October 7th attack on the country." Way to go, John Fetterman. Way to go. He was there for 3 days. And then he concluded, if Hamas remains in power, such a process would turn into a geyser of resources for Hamas, which would allow them to rebuild their tunnels and buy weapons. Say what you will, he is a statesman when it comes for standing up for Israel and all the other Israel friends, and I put that in quotes, like the Senate Majority Leader, who I have nothing but disdain for, who is a self-hating Jew when it comes to Israel, and you know who I'm talking about, the esteemed senator from New York, Chuck Schumer, who has decided that he knows best who the leadership of Israel should be, and he's going to impose a change of leadership on our best ally on half the planet.
Yeah, you know what? I still have mixed feelings about Fetterman. I mean, he'll say some nice things. He'll say what we want to hear, and I think kudos for him for going to Israel and showing his support. I mean, I wish other Democrats would follow suit. But the problem I have with him is that Joe Biden is supposed to interview with George Stephanopoulos, right? And they were saying there was like 20 questions. I think it was the New York Times put a post out there saying, what 20 questions do you think that he should ask Joe Biden? Well, Fetterman put a tweet or an X post out there, and all the questions that Fetterman put out there were all questions attacking President Trump, where President Trump has been 100% for Israel. So I don't know that Fetterman can actually be trusted. Maybe he's doing it to get support from the Jewish community. I really don't know his reasoning. Now, he could be genuine. I'm not going to take it from him. He could be genuine about it, just confused about who actually supports Israel back here in the United States of America, because it is not the Democrat Party as a whole. It is not. But he's still supporting that same party that is against Israel. That's what I don't understand. How does that connection work?
Let me respond. Keep in mind that our two-party system has gotten so screwed up that Republicans are guilty of this, Democrats are too. They won't call out anybody in their own party for doing anything. And conversely, the party loyalty has to stay strict. In other words, they want Joe Biden or somebody with a D after their name to be president of the United States starting in January 2025. And to them, that's more important than the issues. That I find is sad. Not only sad, but it goes against the philosophical projections of the founders, who did not want politics to be governed by a party system, but by issues. And Fetterman is as guilty as any of these people. If it's a Democrat, then they're right. If it's a Republican, then they're wrong. And the truth of the matter is, in terms of Israel, Fetterman is exactly aligned with Trump. But because of this orientation, can't take that next step and say, you know what?
I know.
I agree with Donald Trump and I disagree with Joseph Biden.
I mean, you know what? As Americans, we should be able to disagree with the party that we are associated with. Nothing wrong with that. But the very fact that he acts like he's, he has this rational thinking when it comes to Israel. I mean, I'm in total agreement like you. I'm in total agreement with what he's saying with Israel, his support for Israel. And it was like, it becomes confusing, right? And it becomes, I don't know. I mean, I want to say that he's genuine and sincere about it. But I question his motives.
I know as far as Israel, he's made 100 comments. He's been consistent. He's been supportive. I wish, like you said, more Democrats got on the plane and went over there and saw what the hell they're attacking. Because the truth is, Israel is fighting for its survival against a modern Nazi party that has sworn that given the weapons and given the time and given the manpower, they will attack Israel over and over again until every Jew is dead. That's a fact. It's indisputable. So good on Fetterman, at least on this issue. That's the only point I was trying to make. The idea that he's go Joe Biden. Joe Biden's worse off than Fetterman ever was. and I don't think you recover from dementia the same way Fetterman's recovered from a stroke. I'm not a doctor, but that's my layman's opinion. Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. Good point.
Yeah, you're not going to wake up next week and Biden is the guy from 20 years ago knocking off issues on the top of his head. He ain't never getting that back.
No,
you can take that to the bank.
And he's doing a rally right now, to my understanding. No one's watching though.
He does these rallies, Will, where he reads a teleprompter, right? And even last week he read it out. He read out end of quote. So in terms of spontaneity,
it's funny but not funny.
Yeah, exactly. Funny but not funny.